We're back for our final game of Schalke Boss, but with the title already confirmed, it's less about results on the pitch and more about finding our next job. And just as well, it's not about results on the pitch because we're not doing that great. We've just lost the previous game and it's half-time on the last day of the season and we're locked at 1-1 with a Darmstadt side who are in lower mid-table and have nothing to play for whatsoever. So we're going to tell them that this is absolutely unacceptable. We've got 45 minutes left in charge of Schalke. You can see that we've had 10 shots at the start of this game and only one of them has been on target, and that was our equaliser through Schalke. And Darmstadt really could have scored a second goal, if I'm honest. So we've got a little bit of improving to do. We've got half an hour left to do it, and the rascal gets the ball back out to his midfield and left back. 2 stand-ins in the team for today, as we've got some injuries and some suspensions. And possibly a penalty as well. The referee is taking that agonising FM20, FM21, and now FM22. Arced run to the VAR monitor. Does this add anything to the playing experience? I would wager that it does not. But here he comes with his verdict anyway. And after all of the deliberation, we've at least got a penalty. This could put us 2-1 in the lead. We'd like to finish with a win. We're certainly not going to be leaving Schalke in any kind of financial health. So it would be nice to at least give the fans one last afternoon of winning football before they go up to the Bundesliga. Hopefully make bucket loads of cash that might just save the club. But I do fear that they may come straight back down again, as they have done previously in game when they've been promoted to the Bundesliga, as I'm not sure they're going to be able to strengthen the squad significantly in order to be able to compete. We've got one more highlight. We're on 73 minutes, and we've got a throw in on the right through Schalke. And now he's going to send the ball in, and the rascal is there. And is it one more goal for the rascal? They're going to have a look for offsides. Didn't look it to me. I think this one is going to count. They're doing their little review anyway. Bit of due diligence. Of course it's been awarded. The rascal is fresh from picking up an award, by the way. Granted, it is an award I've never heard of. He's won the something Sons under-19 player of the season for Bundesliga 2. Doesn't sound like the most prestigious of award, granted, but he dedicated it to yours truly. So the model citizen rascal and I are on great terms, as Matondo, another player that's come in for the last day of the season, tries to score us a 4th goal. We've got highlights coming thick and fast now. We also need to make some last day of the season substitutions as well. Then hopefully we can cruise through to full time, where we've got work to do. Of course, we've got to look back at our season and pick our 3 choices for our player of the save with Schalke. And we've also got to take a very stern look at the job market, because our next job is going to be an important one, I think. Yet again, I think the officials are going to VAR review this goal. Matondo might have scored a 4th of the afternoon for us. We're starting to enjoy ourselves a little bit. The chastening that we gave the players at halftime seems to have been pretty effective, as Schalke gives the ball to Matondo. They play a little return pass. Adli gets yet another assist. Spoiler alert, he's a player we might be looking at when we're trying to work out who our player of the Schalke season has been, as the amount of assists that young man has racked up has been pretty outstanding. He could have squared the ball to Rascal there. He's decided not to. 82 minutes. Let's throw 3 subs onto the pitch. Finish this game off. So the referee is checking his watch. He's about to call the end of our time at Schalke. And we've got a 4-1 win on the final day of the season. Not bad considering we did go a goal down pretty early in this game. And it means that we've got a big lead at the top of the table. Paderborn have been promoted in 2nd place behind us, but they are way behind us in the league. So that concludes our campaign with Schalke. Now let's have a look at the other news going on off the pitch. So now the final day of the season has concluded. You can see just how comprehensive our victory has been this campaign. We've finished 15 points clear of 2nd place Paderborn, 17 points clear of Dusseldorf in the 3rd promotion playoff place. That's a pretty comprehensive season. The Rascal's been the top scorer in the league. He's also led the league in terms of average rating, backed up by both Schalke and Adli, we've had all three of the top assist makers in the league, and Rascal's got the most player of the match awards, so that is pretty conclusive. We have a look at our schedule for the end of the season. You'll see that if we reverse the order of the fixtures and head up the screen, you left us in the last game when we were sealing the title with a 5-2 victory over Heidenheim. We then backed that up with a rather impressive 1-0 win against a Nuremberg side that eventually finished fourth in the table. For a while, they looked well placed to come second. In the game after that, we played against Arminia Bielefeld. We were a little bit disappointing. Sergio Cordova scored early for us, but we could only lose this game 2-1 as they scored 2 more goals before half-time, equalising pretty swiftly after we'd taken the lead. So in order to come from behind and get that 4-1 victory on the final day against Darmstadt was a little bit of relief, and it means that we finished the season on a high, and it means that we've also finished the season with 28 wins, losing 5 games and drawing just the once. I think the Schalke fans have had a decent return on their investment in us as a manager. Now let's have a look at the players and how they've performed this season and decide which 3 we're going to offer up to you to vote on as our Schalke Player of the Year. So I think there are 3 players that have been head and shoulders above the rest during our time with Schalke, but I also think there's another that warrants an honourable mention, and that is Krzysztof Kubica, a 28-year-old Pole with 1 cap for the national team. He's a midfielder. He was going to be our first choice midfielder. He's got some pretty nice player traits for a central midfield player as well. But early on in our season, we lost our captain and our left back after the board decided to sell him. Poor Kubica has played there for most of the campaign and is still listed as awkward, but he's not done too badly when we've called upon him. He's got an average rating of above a 7. He's contributed 3 assists. He's got forward and scored 4 goals, including 2 when we sealed the title against Heidenheim. So I think considering he's been playing out of position, he's done a very good job for us, but I'm not sure he's going to be one of our 3 players that we're going to offer up. The first of those is going to be Hugo Sequay. Now, it looked for a while like we might be falling out with young Hugo. Bids came in from Chelsea and Porto. We turned them down because we couldn't afford to lose him in January. Understandably, he was none too impressed with that, but he's battled on anyway and achieved an average rating of 7.67. He's got 4 Player of the Match awards, 13 assists, and got forward to score 4 goals, including a couple of nice ones as well, and one on the final day of the season to get us back into that Darmstadt game. So Hugo Sequay could well be a player to watch. I think he's got a good move ahead of him in the summer, and at 26 years old, he might still have 6 or 7 seasons playing in one of Europe's top leagues ahead of him. But offering number 2 is going to be a slightly older player in the form of Amin Adli. Again, there are interested parties in his services, including some Bundesliga clubs such as Mainz, or maybe a move to Serie A is on the horizon for him with Parma and Sampdoria interested. He has led our creative engine room this season, an average rating of 7.61, 4 Player of the Match awards, but it's those 15 assists that have been incredibly important for us, and the 3 goals that he scored as well, including 1 beautiful free kick. But where he's arguably been most crucial for us is as one of our set-piece takers. We've led Bundesliga 2 in terms of the goals scored from corners, managing to amass 14 corner goals this season. That's not all been due to Adley. Some of those corners have been swung in by Sequay as well, but he has ratcheted up a number of assists from dead ball situations. But to round off our 3, who else could it be but the rascal himself, young Reiner, a model citizen who really probably should have been playing under-19 football or been out on loan at a 3rd-tier club. But we came in, we spotted a little something in him, I'll be brutally honest. It probably wasn't any of his playing attributes. It was more his personality that led to him being called up to the first-team squad. He impressed in some pre-season friendlies, and he has not looked back since. I was going to have him as a bench player and a rotation option, but he hit the ground running. He's got 8 Player of the Match awards. His average rating is 7.76. He's contributed 9 assists for his teammates, but it's his 24 goals in 31 league appearances, only 29 of those being starts, that mean that Rainer Rascal is another hot tip for our player of the season. But the player that we select is, of course, in your hands. Head over to the communities tab now where you'll find a poll with all three of those options for you to vote on, and the winner we will track for the remainder of their career and see whether they go on to great things. Let's pay our annual visit to our previous winners of these votes and find out whether any of them have had a good season, because last year, not looking so good for our former players. Let's start by checking in on our former clubs, where it was another season of second-tier mid-table mediocrity for Dugopolia. And it was much the same story for Pironia. They're still in the Slovakian top flight, but they were in the relegation group this time around. Benin went to another African Cup of Nations, but crashed out in the group stages, losing to Nigeria and Congo and drawing with Zimbabwe. However, Górnik do seem to be a club that is on the rise. They've managed to come 8th in the Polish top division, building on their survival last season. You never know, next campaign they might be pushing on for European qualification. But for poor old Austria Wien, it's yet another season where they've failed to get promotion from the second tier back up to the Bundesliga. Their hunt for a return to the top flight goes on. Cluj still have one game to go in their campaign, and it could be an important one. They're just 1 point behind FCSB at the top of the Champions playoff group, and if they were to win it and FCSB were to only draw, Cluj could become champions for the second time in 3 years. And finally, to a club who are in pretty much the same shape that we've left them in. They finished third behind Olympiacos and their local rivals Aris. They've qualified for the Conference League once more, but they weren't able to go any further in the cups or finish above either of those sides in the league. In terms of our former players, Duša Javorčić is still a non-league player in Croatia. Poor old Patrick Lejiang has finally been dislodged as Pironia's #1 keeper. Peter Juric has probably had his best season since we were in charge with him at Górnik. He scored 8 goals in 27 appearances in the Slovakian top division. Here's a bit of news though. Uwe Fürstenhofer has finally made a bit of a breakthrough at Borussia Dortmund. He's made 10 appearances in the Bundesliga this season, 9 as a substitute, but it looks like he might be starting to develop. Over at Cluj, Alexandru Munteanu seems to have completely stalled since we left. At least he scored this season, but he only made 4 starts, and I think he might need to move in order to make any more progress. But here's a far better performance. Maician Melida has had his 4th season in a row at PAOK, where he's averaged above a 7. This time he looks to have played a full campaign without injuries, making 32 appearances and scoring 10 goals. But to the job market next. It's the 12th of May, so still pretty early on. Not many clubs will have dispensed with the services of their underperforming coaches yet, but I do have to say there's nothing really that would tempt us so far. There are Kortrijk in the top league in Belgium. We could have moved there a few seasons ago. Burnley are in the Sky Bet Championship. I think that could be a little bit of a step down. I think we want to go for a top flight club this time. Újpest are there in the Hungarian top division, but they're only a 2.5-star club. I think we're going to be looking to set our sights a little bit higher than that. So there are no jobs currently available that I think are tempting enough to apply for. However, we look at the jobs that are in a precarious or insecure position, there might be some possibilities on the horizon. First of all, Sevilla are a 4-star club. They've just come 11th in La Liga. If they were to sack their manager, that would be interesting. Potentially, maybe even Grasshopper Zurich in the Swiss top flight, although they've only come 9th in that league. There are some other big clubs that might be on the verge of sacking their manager. Arsenal might be beyond us. They're a 4.5-star club. Maybe we could stay in Germany and move to Borussia Mönchengladbach if they dispense with their boss's services. They're a 4-star club. They've just come 7th in the Bundesliga. And so far in our journeyman career, we're yet to stay in the same country 2 years running. Would it be skullduggery, or would it be the life of a mercenary to stay in the Bundesliga, take on Schalke next season, and take 6 points off them with Mönchengladbach, or maybe Hamburg, or maybe Mainz? Over in France, we've also got the opportunity to potentially move to Marseille, Saint-Etienne, or Reims if they sack their managers. So again, could be jobs that might interest us. And of course, as the managerial merry-go-round hots up, lots of the clubs that are looking to appoint managers might hire from places who've already got a manager in situ, so new vacancies might become available as we click through the next few weeks of pre-season. Let us know down in the comments section, are there any jobs there that you've just seen that you think would be interesting opportunities, or what countries and leagues do you think might be the next logical progression in our FM22 mercenary career? It would be great to go somewhere where we had a chance of winning the top flight title, But what countries could we realistically do that in? Let me know down in the comments, and whilst we go away and find ourselves our new job, we're going to leave another video for you here that you could check out if you're looking for your next FM22 club. You never know, there might be a team here that just interests you.